Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I'll be walking you through the new features and updates in 5.13. And I maybe start just a reminder of what's ahead. So as you may know, we have four major releases in a year. So we release quarterly. The next release, 5.14, is planned for end of March. More specifically, I think it's 29th of March. And the webinar we will be talking about today, or the release we will be talking about today, is 5.13, which was released 2 days ago, 14th of December this year, as a last release of this year. So what we prepared for 5.13. So this release introduces a new component to CloverDX Server, a new major component for secret managers. So CloverDX will now have native connection to Azure Key Vault secret manager. As I was talking about next release, that was deliberate, because I can currently even promise that in 5.14 we will welcome new secret manager for AWS. So in 5.14, so next release, we will introduce AWS Secrets Manager for integration. We also finalized basically a larger feature set for Job Inspector. So if you remember, that's our web version of Designer view only for CloverDX Server. And we also introduced some improvements in DevOps space. I'll be talking about those later on, so I don't want to spend too much time on it on this first slide. Also, we improved a couple of usability features in CloverDX Designer. Also, I'll be talking about those later on. Introduced a new platform where you can deploy Clover on. Platform is called OpenLiberty. It's basically a successor for our IBM deployments. And also, there was quite a stir of events in Java world last week, when there was a critical zero-day vulnerability discovered in Log4j library. So 5.13, our developers did a great job in updating Log4j. So 5.13 is coming out with a Log4 shell, which is the vulnerability name. They introduced a fix for that over basically past weekend. So you can see the full release notes for 5.13 on our website on support.cloverdx.com/releases/5.13. Also, you can find the link on our homepage. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a link to release notes. Now, let's talk about secret managers for a little bit. So it's only a server-only feature. I'll show you later on in our demonstration how you can set it up and how you can work with it. But this video basically illustrates how it works. You specify a new secret manager connection. You'll specify some credential information to the server, and then you can use secret from the secret manager directly in your jobs, as if those secrets would be regular parameters of your job. As I mentioned, we are launching with Azure Key Vault, but looking to introduce new secret managers later on next year. I think we do have plans maybe 3 secret manager implementations for next year. So we'll see how far we will actually get. We are collecting feedback. So if you're working with a secret manager in your organization, please do let us know either through our support portal on support@cloverdx.com, or you can use your account manager, and you can get in touch through account manager to our product team and give us some suggestions. So that's secret managers. Also, I was talking about Job Inspector feature pack. We introduced basically the rest of the functionality which you can get in Designer in terms of what you can see and what you can configure. So in Job Inspector right now, you have an outline view where you can see your connection configuration, or lookup management, or lookup parameters. You can see which dictionaries are defined and which sequences are defined. So that's now available in kind of separate view. Also, if you are running in cluster environment, previously we weren't able to see when your job was partitioned. So basically, when you used parallel partition or parallel simple copy or any other parallel split component, you weren't able to see the data in those fragmented edges. But you can see them now as you can see them in Designer. So you will have a new partition column in Data Inspector, and you will see which partition processed which data. Also, there's a new permission for Data Inspector in Server UI, so you can restrict users to be able to open Data Inspector. If you have maybe some sensitive data, you can specify a group of people who can actually see them and work with these data in Data Inspector. There was also or actually there will be one more change coming in 5.14. I think I can spoil the surprise. Currently, Job Inspector does not show icons and colors for subgraphs. So that's going to be added in 5.14. The feature, I think, is even ready right now, but didn't make it to 5.13. And there's one more thing, actually, in 5.13 currently. There's a CTL highlighting. When you open a CTL enabled component, you can see the code highlight in the details view. All right, I promised I'll talk about some new DevOps capabilities. So right now, when your CloverDX server is in suspended mode, you can't really run anything on it. So CloverDX server will allow to finish jobs which were triggered before the suspension, but it will not allow to run new jobs. In 5.13, we added a manual override, so you can run jobs manually when CloverDX server is in suspension mode. We added this functionality mostly because of cluster deployments where you maybe need to migrate from one cluster group to another one, and in the old one you still need to run maybe some procedure, some cleanup procedure or something like that. So you can do that using this manual override. So in server, basically you will get an option or a checkbox to allow your job to run. You will get notified that server is currently in suspended mode, but you can choose to override it. Same thing for Designer. You will get a new dialog which will prompt you, do you really want to run this job on a suspended node? For REST API, obviously there's no dialog option. So we introduced a new parameter which you can provide to our new REST API, allow suspended node, which will basically do the same thing as if you would run it through the dialog. Also, we got a ticket via our support portal that some sensitive information may leak through server UI to people who has access to configuration, more specifically to system properties view. Let me just quickly show you what do I mean by that. In configuration, there's system info, and sometimes in the system info, more specifically system properties, you might have a password to certificate storage or something like that. So we introduced a new Clover configuration feature, which will basically enable you to mask values in here. So for example, if I would specify Java VM info in that property, I would get mixed mode in like start type of format. So I would have maybe 3-4 stars in here instead of the actual value. Same thing for support package. So if you're sending data to our support team, these values will be also masked in support package, so you don't leak sensitive information if you specify it. That can be done via, as I said, property name, specific property name, or you can specify a regular expression, which will, wildcard expression, which will basically tell which properties should be masked. Also, support package now can include server health information. That's information about CPU usage, memory usage, queue status, and all the other performance log things. Also, we introduced a new SAML logging, or you can add the SAML logging. Of course, you need to enable it first in Log4j configuration. Same applies to backend database connectivity. Basically, whenever CloverDX connects to backend database, do some operation, you can enable this logging as well, and then include it in support package when you're talking to our support. Also, we updated MySQL platform, so you can now use MySQL 8 instead of previously supported 5.6. I think 5.6 got out of life February this year, and MySQL 8 is currently the latest production version of MySQL. So it should be covered, I think, till 2024 when MySQL 8 will be end of life. But I don't have this noted. I think I saw something like 2024. Now, I was talking about OpenLiberty at the very beginning. So that's our new deployment platform. More specifically, we are not on the latest version. We are on the version of 20.006. And you can use 2 Javas with this particular server. You can use either OpenJDK 8 with OpenJ9, Eclipse OpenJ9, which is an open source Java, or you can use licensed IBM SDK 8, which is essentially the same thing, just commercial with commercial support from IBM. So that's a new addition. This is because we plan to phase out IBM currently supported IBM WebSphere in the future. Please do not take this as an announcement that we will deprecate it or you will remove it in next release. It's still going to be announced. Take this as more of a pre-announcement of this step. Major reason for us to deprecate or remove IBM WebSphere is because it only supports Java 8, and we do plan to move to later releases of Java, and this application server kind of dragging us down. So we plan to deprecate it sometime, probably third quarter next year, but we'll see. We'll see. If you are using, if you are on IBM WebSphere, please do let us know either on hello@cloverdx.com or contact your account manager, or you can text directly to our support@cloverdx.com. CloverDX.com. So that's the last point is basically what I mentioned about IBM Java. Now, talking about CloverDX security, in past year, we invested quite a lot into the security and updating packages. So with 5.13.0, we are currently mostly on medium severity CVE Mitra issues. This also includes fix for log4shell vulnerability. So I think this was this graph is, I think it was updated yesterday. So currently we are on 11 issues and we'll be working towards eliminating as much as possible. There's one critical, which is, I believe, Apache Avro, where we are still waiting for Avro to actually fix this issue, which doesn't really apply to us because it's something about logging, I believe. Maybe one more thing about log4shell. We will be releasing till like Christmas time, 24th of December. Till then, we want to have releases for 5.10 till 5.12, basically fixing log4j to version 2.16, which does not include the log4shell vulnerability, and also includes a fix for vulnerability which was discovered, I think, 2 days ago, basically after our 5.13 release. So these 5.10 till 5.11 will include fix for this vulnerability as well. Some smaller changes. We improved performance for job triggers in event listeners. Previously, those triggers could only run sequentially. In 5.13, they can run in parallel. We also introduced an improvement in CloverDX Designer in design time, where if you would use those runtime injected parameters, those were not available in CloverDX Designer. Those parameters, just a refresher, those are job file, sandbox code, run ID, root run ID, these types of parameters. So these are emulated in design time as well, so you can use them, and CloverDX Designer will not report an error if you use them correctly. Also, we introduced a new configuration property. We had a couple of support tickets complaining about Project Explorer to be too aggressive with error reporting and warning reporting, which you can now disable in Windows, Window Preferences, CloverDX, and show graph configuration error warnings. I think there's some suffix, it was a bit too long. So the property is called like this. If you disable it, you will also disable this reporting in Project Explorer. There were many more usability improvements. To mention a couple, we introduced a fix for merge join. So if you did have a component before merge join disabled, merge join complained that it doesn't have input connected. So this was fixed. Also, I think we introduced a fix for data intersection, where it does not require to have all ports connected, and some other nice improvements which will hopefully increase effectivity of your job development. We also graduated Avro CTL functions after we implemented all the feedback we had, and basically decided that we can graduate it to fully backwards compatible mode for future releases as well. So Avro will now be a regular CTL function, or the set of Avro CTL functions will be regular ones as you're used to from the whole package. All right, that would be all from slides. And let's take a look on Clover 5.13 demonstration. I'm going to show you those dialogues I was talking about, and I'll also show you how you can work with those secret managers. I'll start with those actually. So let's take a look on CloverDX 7 for starters. Because first, what you need to do when you want to work with Secret Manager, you sort of need to define it. So when I define new Secret Manager, I need to give it some name. So I'd say that's it would be maybe Webinar 2. Then you select provider. Right now, it's very simple. There's just Azure Key Vault. In next release, there's going to be at least AWS Secret Manager, and because usually these secret managers, they do have several authentication methods, so you'll be prompted for authentication method. If you are in Azure Cloud, you can use implicit, which will basically take all the necessary information from environment and connect to your Azure Key Vault. If you are running in your local infrastructure, as do I currently, you select client secret authentication, which is basically the same thing as if you would authenticate using OAuth, at least in Azure Cloud. Also, secret managers, their access to specific secret manager in Clover is organized into groups. So if you have a group of people who have only access to one secret manager, when you run a job as this particular user in this particular group, you will be fine. If you try to access from your job a secret manager from with user with other groups, this will cause an error. So I see a question coming actually, if we will have a CyberArk integration. We are currently thinking about it. CyberArk is one of the ones we are considering of implementation, but currently it's not decided yet. So when you specify a group, you just select 1 or 2 or 10, basically how many groups you want to have, and then specify some information about the vault you're trying to connect. In my case, I have this release 5.13 Key Vault. I would get most of the information. I would get from here, right? So just copy vault URI and paste it here. This tenant, client, and client ID and client secret, that would come from a app configuration in Azure portal. So you basically need to create OAuth 2 application and then copy these 3 items in here. Then when you're ready, when you're done, you can click validate, which will basically send a request to Azure and will tell you, okay, these credentials are okay, or these credentials are invalid. Maybe one point to Azure Key Vault specifically. We are using this access control IAM, where you specify a user. We are not using the policy one, these access policies. So just one thing when you are configuring secret managers. But when you're done, you will end up with something like this. I already have pre-prepared secret manager connection. And if you would like to have a secret used in your job, you basically can just copy this placeholder and switch to CloverDX Designer. So, for example, I have a job, this read database, which is using a database connection defined using a secrets manager. So what I can do, I can just specify a parameter placeholder s. So if I would go back into my Key Vault, I would actually see all these secrets defined. So I do have telemetry over here, which is basically a URL to my service. I have -pvd, password, and user. All of these are going to be placed in here, right? So when I specify this, I can run a job. I will of course get errors because I am not connected to my server. Brilliant. All right, I'll just sorry about that. So webinar and deploy it on my server. Next in localhost finish. So that was a rookie mistake. My apologies. All right, and now I should be able to run it. All this information, all these get translated by the server, injected into the job, and job now can run without any problems. If you would like to use secrets from a CTL code, you can do it exactly the same way as you would use parameters. So for example, I do have this job in here where I would have my secret manager name, right? That's this bit over here, right? So that's this bit. And then I have a secret name, which is this bit. Those are my two parameters, two input parameters into my job. If I would use secret, which does not exist, I wouldn't get an error. I would just get an empty input. Right, so if I look in here, my PVD is empty. But if I would provide a valid entry, I would get my value injected onto an edge. So obviously, this may leak a password. So usually in production environments, this is not a problem because when you are running jobs in production environment, these debug data are disabled. So it's not a problem. Best practice is to use if you are providing these parameters to jobs which are starting, just use secret parameters. So these will get actually masked in log files, so they will not leak in your log. Yeah. All right. So that would be secret managers. Now let's take a look on the second feature I mentioned about running jobs on suspended nodes. So as you could see, right now, everything ran smoothly. I was able to run a job, no problem. But if I go back and suspend my node, you will get a dialog. Okay, suspend. I will get a dialog when I try to run this if I'm sure that I want to run this job. So it basically looks like this, so you're not spooked when you're running something on a suspended node or a cluster. Also, when you are running things from the server UI, you will have something like this, right? So we would have maybe my read database job, and if I would run it from job inspector over here, I would get this checkbox. Basically, whenever I can run a job, I will get this checkbox that I want to run it. And I would need to, of course, I'm missing something. No value present. I do have some required parameter currently, but no matter. I guess I hopefully showed everything I needed to show today, and maybe a good time for Q&A if there are any more questions.
All right, thank you, Pavel. All right, so feel free to ask questions. Use the Q&A box or chat. In the meantime, this is our last webinar this year. We've been doing quite a lot of webinars, not only about the product, every quarter, but we also have been running webinars every single week this year. And you can, pardon, you can check out the webinars on demand, replay any of those webinars on the URL that you see on the screen. So cloverdx.com/webinars, fairly simple. So a ton of webinars on both like CloverDX related topics, as well as anything that revolves kind of around data integration, data quality, data ingestion, data migration, etc. Essentially everything you can do with Clover. All right, so we have a question for Stefan. Log4j has published another update. Will be a 5.13.1 soon. I think that's related to their update to the follow-up problem. Yeah, go ahead, Pavel.
There's actually, we get this question today and yesterday quite a lot. So 5.13.1 is currently planned to February, because the new update published by Log4j is low severity and doesn't really impact anything in CloverDX. What I can recommend is check out our oh my god, there's a term for that. Security something. I'm gonna you know what, I'm gonna send a link afterwards. Can we do that, Pavla? Can we send a link to attendees?
Sure, yeah. Which one?
So basically, we published a set of steps how you can mitigate and remove the risk. There was an announcement via email, I think a couple of days ago, yes, where we basically summarized, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I'm sending a link to the security advisory.
Yeah, that's the one.
Where you can watch, where you can watch
that's
the updates.
So advisory is being updated basically every couple of, I don't know, almost hours, well, I'd say.
Yeah. Especially in the last 2 days, we've been updating it quite a bit.
So if you check this advisory, you will see basically updates on, for one, when those fixes are being published. What I can tell you right now, 5.10 till 5.12 will include this new update of Log4j, the 2.16. 5.13 Clover will still have, or will work on update 2. Oh my God, what did I say? Okay, let me rewind. 5.10 till 5.12 releases of Clover will already include Log4j version 2.16, so the latest one. 5.13 Clover will only have 2.15 update of Log4j, and we currently don't plan to move to 2.16 yet because of two reasons. One reason is the 2.16 does not fix any critical severity issue. It only fixes the low severity one. And we actually expect there's going to be a new update from Log4j, basically extending on these, let's say, quote unquote, hot fixes. So we'll see where Log4j will what will develop in Log4j, and then decide based on that action. Hopefully, I answered the question. I know it was kind of a lengthy answer, but
yeah. And also, Stefan said he already looked at the advisory and and applied all the workarounds. So I think we can say that for 5.13, there's no like urgent action that you need to take, or you would need to wait for 5.13.1 because of the kind of much lower severity of that issue.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Do we have some more questions? Hopefully not just about Log4Shell, which obviously has been a big topic in the past couple of days, so that's understandable. And Pavel, maybe you can speak a little bit about the earlier versions, when and which ones will be getting the fixes, just to recap on that.
Good news is 5.10.3 was already released, so it's available for download, and this one includes 2.16 fix of Log4j, and we tentatively, and I need to stress out the word tentatively, will be released in basically 2-day time frame, just because we need to test it, and to run these tests takes usually around 2 days, the full battery of integration tests. So you may expect 5.11 in 2 days from now, and then the next one in another 2 days. But it's really just premature kind of expectation on when those will be released. In general, we will be trying to deliver these fixes before the Christmas time, before 24th of December this year.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So it seems we don't have any more questions. If anything comes up, as I said, well, you'll have the recording. You can go to support.cloverdx.com/releases to find the release notes for 5.13, so you can recap everything that Pavel has been saying. And we'll also put the video on the release notes page. So I'm going to put that in the chat right now, so that but those of you who've been using Clover for a while, you know where to find it. Support CloverDX.com/releases. So you'll find the releases there. And yeah, with that, wish you hopefully a good year, given the circumstances to 2022, and hopefully we'll meet again on a webinar like this or some other webinar quite soon in 2022. So enjoy the rest of the year. Hopefully you're getting holidays, and yeah, speak to you soon.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye.